In today's edition, we are in Achimota and we are visiting the neighborhood of Michael Kofi Odro, a leading sports journalist in Metro TV. And we are going to inspect aftermath of recent flooding within his community. So come along as we get to interact with the residents to know their concern. Hi, welcome to this edition of Community Watch with me, Gabriel Ni Obodai Atupra Atunam Togo Ashon. On today's edition, we are coming your way from New Achimota, Kingsby Junction here in Accra. The area has been noted to be a flood-prone community experiencing perennial flooding. Why is the situation so? Well, I'll be joined here shortly by my colleague, Michael Kofi Odro, our leading sports journalist. He lives in this community and has been adversely affected. He will tell us exactly how he has been affected, then we'll pick it up from here. We'll be moving from one stage to the other. So please follow attentively so you get a better appreciation of this situation. In the end, we shall see how best we can collectively find a lasting solution to this. Michael, welcome to Metro TV. We are starting today's conversation with you. Recently, there was a downpour here, and then it caused a lot of problems for you. Summarize this for us.
Okay, I think that anytime there's anytime there's a downpour, we have issues here because the drainage system here is very poor, and that has been complicated by redirecting of the waterway. What happens is that once it rains and we lock our gates, we are safe. But if the gates are not locked, then we're in trouble, because once the water finds its way onto the street, anywhere it finds space or way, then it flows through that side. So on Monday night, when it started drizzling, I was outside around 11 p.m. Went inside, fell asleep. At 2 a.m., I heard people in the house shouting that we should all come out. The house is flooding, the water is taking over, and all of that. Personally, I tried opening my door. The door was not opening.
You don't mean it?
For like 15 minutes, I was in the room, the door was not opening. And then the water just
kept rising.
Rising. So I didn't know what to do. Then I jumped onto my bed at some point. While I was there, I was just praying to God to save us, because the rate at which the water was coming inside the room and those outside were shouting. I was thinking about my sister, her 2 months and 3-year-old daughters. Then at some point, my bed was floating as well. So we had to break the louver blades, tear the net, and then, yes, I escaped through that small window. And even when I escaped, the corridors, the whole house was flooded. We just couldn't pass through because we don't know what will happen if we should try passing through. Then fortunately for us, we had the walls at the back break down. Then the water...
Unfortunate, but then in that circumstance, you describe it to be fortunate.
Yes, to be fortunate. And then the water started flowing out at a faster speed. So the water that was coming into the rooms had reduced. Those on the compound had also come down. And while we tried to come outside, there's a story building right here. So we know that as for that place, at least the kids and ourselves will all be safe. And while we came out, the ladies took a short video.
Which you are seeing now in the...
Yes. And so that was even the situation where the wall had broken and the water levels had come down to the situation where we could pass through and come out. And you could see the struggle. My sister her babies were carried up high by the other gentleman in the house. She herself, at some point, she couldn't just pass through the water, so we had to hold her strongly to help her pass through the water and seek refuge up there. So it was a very bizarre situation and very terrifying. I've never had such a terrifying experience in my life before.
I see. Sorry about this, but what do you think is the root cause of this?
The root cause, one, is the very small drainage system, and then also this hotel, Lincoln Hotel, is believed to have been built in a waterway, and the water redirected. Now, the redirection of the water, and at the point where it meets the gutter. It's supposed to join the gutter to flow through this drainage, the one here on the right side. It's very small. So whenever there's a downpour, it overflows.
Can we get there to have a look at the situation?
Sure.
We are just next to the Lincoln Hotel within Achimota.
Yes.
All right.
So this is the source of the problem we are facing in this area. If you look at this, is a big gutter coming from Tantra Hills. You see that side is the upper side. It runs through Mile 7, through this place. Now, the waterway has been redirected because part of the, if you trace it directly, you see that part of the building here, that's the Lincoln Hotel building, is built along the waterway. And then you can see that he constructed a gutter here, but it is narrowed. The gutter is narrowed.
So first off, he actually diverted the stream.
Yes.
And then second, as a result of the encroachment on the banks of it, it's been narrowed.
It's been narrowed.
Okay.
Now just look at the point where it joins the gutters. Very narrow.
Yes.
So, and this is a big gutter that is coming. So when it rains, it comes with a lot of pressure. And then it gets here. Look at this narrow gutter. How can the water that is coming from this very big gutter get here and all will flow? So when it gets here, it overflows.
Okay.
Then the street, it gets to the street and then it finds its way. So once your gate is opened or it flows to a certain level where it overflows your walls, then it means that you are in trouble. But just take a look. Apart from the fact that the gutter here is very small, look at it. They are always. This is 3 days after the rainstorm.
Okay.
But just look at the rubbish here.
It is blocked.
It
by
is
the
blocked. They don't
rubbish.
even bother to
And
come and
because
take.
it is very narrow and small, then the refuse gets
The
packed
refuse, that is it.
there.
But if 3 days after, they have not even come to clear up the mess, what if it had rained after, within the 3 days period? What if it had rained? So
You can see another channel created
Yes.
to get into the
but it,
and drain at the gutter at the street level.
Yeah.
But it's so narrow.
it is still narrow. You see, it is still not enough. And if you want an evidence, just look at the street. You see that
Let's get to the street and see the impact it is having, and then appreciate the situation better. So we are in front of the Lincoln Hotel here in Accra.
Okay.
We've left where the narrowed drain is.
Yes. Now you look at, this is a third street. Just look at the right side of the street.
Okay.
It is in good shape.
in order.
You look at the left side of the street, but just look at the space here in front of Lincoln Hotel. Look at the deplorable state it's in.
And this is as a result of the water overflowing.
Overflowing onto the street. And this is evident. You see? So what we are saying is that fine, the building, maybe the building could not be pulled down, but we need to find a solution. The drainage system must be, it must be bigger than this. If you just beside our house, where those cars are parked, that's Event Hub. When the guy came to construct that event center, we told him about the problems in the area. So if he wants to put up such a structure, then he must open up the drainage system, which is beside and then runs behind the building. The guy opened it up, so there's no problem. So if this hotel manager or owner had done the same thing by opening up the drainage or the gutter here and then the one in front here, there wouldn't have been any problem.
Because it appears even the drain right in front of the hotel, extending to the end of the street, is also very narrow.
It's very narrow and often blocked with filth.
But as residents, concerned residents or affected residents, have you mobilized to then approach the owner of Lincoln Hotel?
Yes.
What was the outcome?
People have done that, but when it rains, his place is not really affected. So does he care? Maybe he doesn't.
Okay.
But I'm sure that Robert, you should also come, because Robert is the owner of the event place I was talking about.
Okay.
So when he was the guy I was talking about. When he constructed his place, he put up the event center. He single-handedly opened the drainage system because he knew that he was putting up a structure there, and he knew the problem that was there. and what the results of constructing a building there will be. So he opened up the drainage there. So when it rains at that side, but for the narrow gutters here, there wouldn't have been any issue because that side where it will connect through to Achimota is okay. He did that. But this place, just look at Obuda, just take a look at this.
In a messy
the
state.
gutter is 1, it is very narrow. 2, it is choked. And this is the situation. It is choked all the time with rubbish. And this is a gutter just in front of your building. Who do you expect to come and clean it for you?
Have you approached the assembly about this?
Look, several times so now I don't know, but we are planning on taking legal action.
Well,
I think
his neighbor here wants to add a word.
I think he's a proper gentleman and a quiet person, and would never basically he lives around, so he doesn't own.
Being diplomatic about the situation.
Properties around,
Right. So paint the picture clearer.
I own about 3 properties on the road that you can see, Event Hub as well, and it's amazing. When I came here, it's amazing. Just look right here in front of your hotel. You don't need the government to come and do this for you. This is common sense. You don't need any government to come and do this for you. He has actually built this structure on the drainage system. And then it turns to the fact that I am an MPP, I am an NDC, I'm an MPP, I'm an MP, NDC. So it justifies whatever problems you are creating for the hundreds of people here. This needs to be rectified. It cannot be rectified because you will see at the end of the day, one is NDC, one is MPP. It will not be done. I dare you, Metro TV. I dare everybody. The government.
We are moving
it will not
in
happen.
right there too.
It will not. I am daring you this. We'll see this. We'll talk about this again next year. I can bet you. I bet Metro TV that I will bet them $20,000 that we'll have this conversation again next year.
You've heard from the residents indicating that, look, the Lincoln Hotel and its location is a contributory factor to the situation right here. But according to the owner of the facility too, there is another challenge on the way. So from here, we are moving behind this facility to ascertain whether or not his facility, the Lincoln Hotel, is sitting on the waterway or not. So come along as we have this done right here on Metro TV. We are at the second location, a point behind the Lincoln facility. We are doing this so you get a clearer picture and a better appreciation of what my senior colleague, Michael Kofi-Odro, explained to you earlier. He joins me here, so we connect the dots. Mike, welcome.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
how does this relate? Because we are still within the drain. This time around, not close to, but we are within.
Yeah, we did.
How does this add up?
Okay. This was the big gutter or drainage system I was talking about. That the water flows from the top, Tantra Hills, through Mile 7. So through Mile 7, this is the point where it connects to the gutter that leads to Lincoln Hotel. So you can see that this one is a very big and very good drainage system. I was just told that it was constructed by the owner of this facility. This gutter has always been there. I schooled just here at Bishop Wale, but this bridge has always been here. Just that the man expanded it when he decided to put up this facility. So this is a very big gutter. Now, if there is a heavy downpour and there is a water that is flowing from the upper part through this very big drainage system, you look at the speed and power with which the water travels, and it gets to that point at Lincoln Hotel. That is very narrow. Certainly there will be an overflow. And we know that once there is an overflow, then there is flooding for people who live close to that particular point. So this is the place I was explaining that the water flows through a very big drainage system up until it gets to Lincoln Hotel. And that is where the problem is.
Up until it gets to Lincoln Hotel. We are done at our second location. We've had the grounds report, or exactly what the problem is from the residents and also from my colleague Michael Kofi-Odro. Now let's get to the Lincoln Hotel and then speak with the owner of the facility. We are at the third location, which is right in front of the Lincoln Hotel. And the name of the facility has come up a couple of times. The fact that it is on the waterway, is that really the case? The owner of the facility, Mr. Opoku, is here with us, so we engage, and specifically to see the way forward. Welcome to Metro TV, Mr. Opoku.
Thank you very much.
The statement is that your facility is sitting on the waterway and thereby causing flood within the locality.
It's not
How
true.
come?
It's not true. It's not true, please. I'm the one who made this gutter behind me here. Mm-hmm. We've never had any overflow inside ever since we did this gutter, whether somebody's wall or somebody's water has gone into somebody's property. No. The only problem, the only overflow is on top of this road. The main reason is that the volume of water that is coming from this place, this small gutter behind you here, it cannot contain it. So always the problem is only here, not our place here.
We'll come to the narrow gutter, yes, but we were somewhere behind your facility moments before coming to speak with you, and we noticed that the drain there has a wider scope. The drain is a bit wider than it is next to your facility. So then it somewhat leads credence to the fact that as a result of building your structure or the wall, it has narrowed the drain a bit. Please. Have you been there to inspect that the place behind your house has a wider scope?
Can I come in here? This wall has been here for the past 20 years, before all these walls were being done. Please, when we look behind it, there is one house there, the green building, the story building. When she was doing his fence wall, I was even complaining. It has come too close. Not my wall. Not my wall.
So what have you done about it, Mr. Opoku, knowing that the drain is very small?
I spoke to the assemblyman, that was day before yesterday, that if she could allow me, if you can see these rocks, the way I've done these rocks here, whether I can do this same thing in front of me here. He said yes, he will come and even inspect it so that we do it. So
but filling the street wouldn't solve the problem, because the gutter or the drain wouldn't be widened in the process. It remains
the drain
narrow.
Widening is by what I was saying. By widening the drain is this gutter has to be doubled. It has to be widened.
So the question is, who is going to do that? Is Mr. Opoku willing to take on the challenge to do it, especially so as it is right in front of his facility?
If I'm being given the chance, because I know this thing must be done by the government.
Being given the chance, but you can also volunteer.
Why not? That is why I call the first thing that has to be done is this road. Because, I'm doing business here. And when people are passing by and the road is bad, it's not good. But I have to get some, how do you say it? I have to get some some authorization from, people who are listening, so that I can do. You see, by doing this road, by doing this gutter, that one, I can also, discuss with how they call them, urban roads or whoever, because this place was done by urban roads, the other gutter there, you see. And if I can also, donate something to them or whatever, help for them to do this particular gutter for it, I will do.
So you've heard from Mr. Opoku, the owner of Lincoln Hotel, saying that it is not necessarily the case that his facility, the Lincoln Hotel buildings, are situated on the waterway. So now we are waiting for the Member of Parliament for this area, including the Assembly member. So together we meet up and see the way forward. Here on Metro TV, here on this program, we seek solutions, not to divide members of communities, but to see how collectively we can identify the challenges and then find lasting solutions for them. Join us on our fourth leg of this assignment. We have with us the Member of Parliament for the area, Honorable Moses Enim, inspecting the situation, and then is here to also assess, and then together we see the way forward. He's also here with the Assembly member who has also facilitated this. We also have some of the residents being here with us to observe. Right, so we are talking about the pandemic and ensuring that we all have face masks. So it's good that we have Mr. Opoku here, who is the owner of the hotel. We have the authorities, and then we have members of the community to witness exactly what is going on, so we see the way forward. Honorable, welcome, and we are happy seeing you here.
Thank you so much for being professional and coming down and also giving us the opportunity to also respond so that whatever is being done in the totality, the other side could be heard. Either too, it has been one-sided. You get to the ground, just speak to the people. Nobody is called. Urban rules are not called. The engineers are not called to make an input as to the way forward. Assemblyman's input will not come. Maybe the MP's input will not come. Then it becomes one-sided and bashing, left and right and center. This enclave is a waterbed, and for that matter, the flooding has been coming, and it has been coming not just from here, it's coming from the up there. So what are we doing now? I've fought for an 18-kilometer asphalt overlay. Okay. So you see cement doing the crushed rocks, putting caps at size, dressing surfaces so that the bitumen will come. I've also gotten it's about 6 kilometers to 7 kilometers for David Water, so that he will begin to construct some other drains along the line. Like Daddy is saying, he has an underground drain here. I don't know whether the urban rules are even aware. Okay, if they are aware, then it means that their input to the outfall must take consideration of this one. The critical aspect now is the outfall, because you need an outfall that will carry the water away, so you not get a backflow.
How are we getting this done?
Which of course, definitely we need to get a drain of the right size. A drain of the right size. And such a situation, you will need a storm drain. We're putting on asphalt about 18 kilometers asphalt overlay.
Stretch inclusive?
Yes, this one is inclusive.
Right. 2 issues from us before we leave, and it's good that the key stakeholders are right here. When are we looking at getting the asphalt done?
It's already there. If you just pass here, you realize that he's putting up the caps. Okay. Just from here to the other road, the road that leads to Mapuliv and then to the new plan. In fact, he's promised me that the asphaltic team is to come by this weekend. Okay. Then they will do the bitumen, and then the asphalt will flow. Okay. And anytime they start, you will take your number. The assemblyman will take.
We come over and then have a look at the progress of work.
Look at the progress of work.
So maximum in a month's time, this should have been done.
In a month's time, we will see a lot of, because I've told him that when he comes, at least the treatment is done already, can take him 2 weeks of asphaltic overlay. Such a contract is an 18 months contract, but we are telling him that, look, he should be able to finish before the end of the year. He should be able to do that before the end of the year.
It's in order. Let's place the drain here in perspective. So it's good that we have residents or all the key stakeholders here. Can we affirm or give a word of assurance what exactly is going to be done here, now, and maybe when it's going to be done?
I can't give you an answer as to the original drain that is here, because he is coming to do an asphaltic overlay. Mm-hmm. Okay. The engineers who did this one might have also taken into consideration the flow rate and all that. But in this country, because of our nature of indiscipline, you perceive, and within 1 year you go, because of certain activities, the whole situation has changed. I think the principle of doing the right things regardless should lead every Tom and Dick and Harry in this country. The journalists must do the right thing. Look, journalists get up on media, they are on the back of their console, they don't consult, they don't talk to anybody, they speak. Malign, challenge, malign, and then go that extent. Some journalists Okay, but I believe that there's natural justice where you hear two sides, and then as a journalist you can you can provide the genuine information. Now we need to get expansion of the art form, which definitely we have to do, and I can assure you that we'll get the urban roads engineer. Personally, I will go and take a look at it again, because like I said, I know the enclave. But the narrative might have changed because of certain activities of all of us. So I'll still go and look at it, and then we will see what we can do quickly. The engineer too will come.
No, we are wrapping up, but I want my colleague Michael to come, and then Mr. Opoku.
All right.
A quick one from them. You've heard Honorable explain situation and also the way forward. What's your quick take on it? Because after all, we are living here, but you two are within, and then you are faced with the challenge. Let me start with Michael, then I move over to Mr. Opoku. MP, Honorable MP is here. Maybe you may have a question to him or a contribution with regards to the way forward.
Okay, I think that our Honorable Member of Parliament has spoken well. It brings some amount of hope. But I mean, this is not the first time this is happening, just that this is the worst we have experienced. And there are times where we've had assurances like this, not from him, but from other people at the very local level. But this time we would want to hope and believe that it is not just lip service, but we want to see the thing stand. But I am here. I'm not sure that there's anybody in this area who was more affected than myself and the people in the house. So we will continue to monitor. And I know that on Community Watch, we don't just touch the surface of the issues and leave it. So from time to time, we'll be giving updates, whether it is done or not. But I want to believe that for once, we will have the things done, because the Honourable Member of Parliament himself is the one here at this particular time. So we can only hope and pray and believe that the things, just as he said, are done within the shortest possible time.
Right, so you've heard from the key stakeholders within this enclave, New Achimota. We shall continue to follow this up and then keep you updated. You've watched Community Watch here on Metro TV. We've got our eyes on the communities. If you have challenges within, invite us over so we have a look. We bring the key stakeholders together and then we find a collective solution to them. Education, health, sanitation, just name them. We shall be there to address them. My name is Gabriel Ni Obodai Atopra Atunam Togba Ashon, supported by Leonard Nikwe and also my colleague Isaac, saying bye-bye for now.
Two tracks, echo.
Honorable, make I condemn.
I'm not Bolaka.
The same thing.
It is we who are creating the problem. See, so for all you know, see, that's why you see, I asked first question. The drain that is under there, I asked him, so whether the urban roads were. See, that was the first question I asked. Because if you put any drain like that and cover a drain like that, knowing the sort of nature of people we have, dumping, for all you know, that drain requires certain. But the problem is there. Whoever did that, you see, the flow must come, especially at that particular junction. You can't have such. You get a backflow, and then when you get backflow, it will wash over. Because Honu said, about pim and certain, backflow, they rise. So a honey problem.
Metro TV for no. A person about 7. Na the cause or no. The main point important amasane manere because bridge no. Ensuo no ntimi nkọ. Nti bubu aman forward. E di nsuo akọ aman for be brief. Nti mo ma hwese de ho no environment no esitie.